I couldn't agree more. I think JLINGZ is looking at this with their performance yesterday and also looking at the road that they have today. They're realizing, like, wait a minute, boys, if we start Saturday off hot, this is our path, right? There is a certain road that will take you all the way to the finals, and this is the one. Even though it's a tough bracket, having Quadrant up first, maybe not the worst curse, maybe a little bit of a blessing. If you take them down right now, you'll be able to steamroll, get even more momentum.
We certainly will indeed. Now, we saw the series layout a few moments ago. We'll dive into that a little bit deeper in just a few seconds, but we are starting off the series, our first series of the day here at the EU Super. It is bracket play, everybody. The pools are done and dusted, and now we're going to see teams really going hard and trying to force their way into that next round. Live Fire is going to be the first map of the day. We're going to be playing some Strongholds, and Quadrant are going to be feeling very confident here.
Yeah, they certainly are a very comfortable team on this map, so look for them to start hot. They do not want to let JLINGZ keep that momentum, right? The job for Quadrant is to not just win this game, they need to win this handily. They need to stop all the JLINGZ momentum. They need to make sure that they look at this series and end it as quick as they can, because if you let JLINGZ go to Game 4, Game 5, it could be a very different result.
I get the feeling we might be going to Game 4, Game 5 as well. We'll have to see how it plays out. But before we get there, we've of course got to get what happens in Game 1 out of the way. We're going to start off with the point of view of a man who was impressive yesterday. And I'll tell you what, if you had to have a couple of seconds and kind of plan it out on how you want to start the game here on day number 2, then that's pretty much the perfect way. Double kill off the rip for TchiK.
I was going to say, for TchiK, that's going to be one of the easiest doubles he grabs off of the opening to date now, as they're going to go ahead and take a look at the AC option on the side of Quadrant. TchiK just doing whatever he can to fight this overshield battle.
Yeah, not only doing that, but doing a lot of damage onto those players on the power-up. Now he has the opportunity to push in, and he's going to be pushing away. And look at this great play from TchiK, recognizing 2 players in front of him, uses the repulsor to back them up, and now has the space to just be a nuisance. BC in the control of JLINGZ, BC in control of Quadrant at the start of this. The colors a little bit flipped on our overlay. We'll get that sorted as soon as we possibly can for everybody at home, but TchiK doing a good job just staying alive.
Yeah, notice how long he stayed at B. He's been at B the entire game. He spawned at B, he got that double kill, and all he comes back, now going to continue rotating back at B. This is the discipline that it required to make sure that you're able to hold everything, and because he stayed at B this entire time, that's how they get this trip cap.
Yeah, it's been really, really impressive so far from Quadrant overall, to be honest with you, and I mentioned how strong they are on Strongholds, and it looks like there's a reason that they're looking pretty strong at the moment, and that is because, unfortunately, we've lost a player from JLINGZ Esports, but I mentioned we were going to have a little bit of a deep dive into the series, and while we get the ruling from the back and the admins do their job, we'll obviously update you, but it gives us a chance to look at that series a little bit deeper. The start of that game, I think, was an indication of what we may have been expecting from Quadrant, though, coming out hot.
Exactly how that will go for a few of these teams. The beginning of their championship Saturday, Quadrant versus JLINGZ, now coming up on your screen. It's our first match of the day on Saturday, and it sounds like we have already points on the board in favor of Quadrant, the ruling coming in.
Yeah, the ruling officially from the back is that Quadrant need 204 points, whereas JLINGZ will need, of course, the full 250. So we'll keep you up to date. We'll guide you through the action here, but after a little bit of a full start, we're back underway in our first game of our first series of the day. Quadrant versus JLINGZ Esports, and TchiK not picking up the double he did in the first game.
Surprise, surprise. Nobody goes pillars off of the opening there, and like we said, that's going to be a very different starting strat from JLINGZ. A little bit of another get-out-of-jail-free card on screen there. Remote detonation attempt does not come through for TchiK, and now a little bit of a battle at C plat.
TchiK changing things up in response to what JLINGZ bring to the party. B and C are going to be converted. This battle back tower is going on for quite some time. TchiK just being such a nuisance, and finally going to get the kill onto Septiq. 3 dead here for JLINGZ Esports. Quadrant is going to pick 1 up, though, and at least give them somewhat of a foothold on the map. But saying that, he's going to have to give up the Strongholds as he goes for the camo. Triple cap already coming in here for Quadrant.
Yeah, it might be last player alive picking up a kill and Quad grabbing the camo, but wisely Quadrant just opts instead to go for that trip cap during that, and worth the focus, but it does give Quad an opportunity with the camo here.
Needs to make some plays here, Quad. Needs to be aggressive, clear some space for his teammates to jump inside of a few of those Strongholds. One thing that might help him is that heat wave, which is down right next to him, but he doesn't spot that one. Instead, he's completely locked and focused on what is happening in front of him, and quite rightly so. It should be a trip ski to start things off for Quadrant. Maybe even a cheeky little Ovi. Septiq's not going to let him get that one himself. He's going to pick up the 4th kill, and now the triple cap will be flipped on his head.
I'm not even sure if he meant to nade past Nest, but he actually hits the pillar there so that the plasma sits top Nest, which gets him all that splash damage as well. Pretty great grenade to throw.
Beautiful stuff coming in from Quad. When you're last player alive, that's how to play things, right? Make sure that you prioritize a way to get your team back into the game, whether that's a kill, whether it's a power-up. Quadio's putting it to use for sure, but from that triple cap, you can see that JLINGZ Esports now going to have to defend B. Morguhh's going to have the sniper rifle to play with and an opportunity maybe to stop this push. But again, Quadrant just overloading that one stronghold and making sure that even if he hits a shot, it's not going to be enough to force them out of that stronghold.
Yeah, despite the slaying that you saw on the board there. Nice little no-scope comes in from Morguhhh as well. Look at Quad, he's 8-2. But guess what? Quadrant says that's just fine. You get as many kills as you want. We're going to run this scoreboard up.
One thing that Quadrant are so good at on this game type, and I'm talking about strongholds overall, not just on this map, is how quickly they move from point A to point B. They will out-rotate everyone, and look at SLG. He is a sneaky, sneaky Frenchman. He's creeping up behind Quadios, and Septiq will find the dirt as well. It's 2 for SLG, make it 3, but oh my word.
Wow.
I think that might have been a little bit of team nading coming in as well. Morguhhh will pick up the kill, but by doing the damage that he's done, SLG, at least he's given Quadrant a little bit more time on the board. They're almost over that 100-point mark. Now they are 101 to 21.
Must not forget, Quadrant only needing 204 on the board, meaning they had already had those 46 points on the board to their name before the reset. That was the exact math done by the admin team before the restart. So now only about less than 100 points away from closing out this game 1.
Septiq, a man who was top of those leaderboards yesterday for kills, is going to have to find a few more to add to the tally if he wants to get his team back into this one. He knows there's a player kind of hovering around. He's going to be challenged by TchiK, but look how difficult a kill TchiK is. Just such a nuisance. And even though JLINGZ Esports and Septiq do a great job to convert C in their favor, TchiK was still a nuisance and made it as difficult as he could for Quadrant to keep control of that. But having said that, speaking of control, now it's a triple cap for JLINGZ. They're finding their way back into this slowly but surely.
Should be another one. Wow, interesting trade there. It's going to be for Fragxr and Quad as they will trade out, but the trip cap continues at the moment. We'll see if the A-stop comes in, but regardless, a lot of time on the board here for JLINGZ.
I was about to say, Septiq has a lot of responsibility here at Tower as well. Getting that player out of Tower is such a vital thing to do if you want to try and break that triple cap. But Septiq, he does his job. He picks up the first kill in the team fight to give his team a numerical advantage on the map. And now it's just about taking your time, making sure you're pairing up, making sure they work towards maybe that next camouflage, which is popping up right now.
Yeah, right now, Septiq knows about it, already pre-nading it. Going to see what he might be able to do in these battles. Grab coming in, going to need to be on top of this. And my God, I think he actually gets double teamed there, maybe even tripled outside of power up. And SLG will finally pop it. And it was SLG himself with that body no-scope, but gets taken down.
Gets taken down almost immediately. So Quadrant, they put a lot of resources into getting hold of that power-up, and unfortunately for them, it does not work in their favor. With that, Morguhh's going to convert A, and now the spawns, I think, are actually going to be coming in over at the dummy side. That stick is going to be massive to take the final player out of the B stronghold. Morguhhh, a player who's started to find more and more consistency over recent weeks and months in his gameplay. Known for some flashy plays, but now he's known for making them more frequently.
Certainly Morguhhh, a long-standing name in the European Halo scene. We've seen him on many, many European stages, and also some North American ones as well. Take a look at this. JLINGZ Esports right back in it. Like you said, that stick on B is huge. It avoids a whole nasty battle at green. Anything can happen if you're forced into green itself. With grenades, repulsors, all sorts of nasty stuff can happen. JLINGZ does really well to get right back in this game.
Fragxr. He's going to be there with those spike grenades. He picks up one. Qristola's going to be there to get the trade, though, for JLINGZ Esports. And now you can see that the move from JLINGZ and the call seems to be, let's push B. Let's try and pick up the kills, and let's try and get this one converted. They've got to be very aware of Shad, though, who's being a nuisance. Good shots from Qristola and good awareness from him as well to know that he couldn't see anyone in front of him. So there's got to be someone sneaking up from behind.
Able to grab the first, not the second. It's a good two-player push coming in from Quadrant, but TchiK is actually the last player alive around here. Going to be traded out.
Trade comes in, but JLINGZ get the reset. So JLINGZ still scoring. B and C in their control. Septiq still having a battle around B. There is a player you can see contesting. He's going to repulse her into the air to maybe try and avoid any grenades being thrown from that sandbags area. Survives for now as his teammate manages to get the trade on that player. But now B, you can see, is still the focal point for both teams. They're both trying to wrestle it away from each other, but nobody having the advantage.
Yeah, JLINGZ loves this. Keep sending B, keep going with these weak pushes if you're on Quadrant, because JLINGZ is able to take them down one at a time. Quadrant's starting to get a little sloppy, not really coordinated on these pushes.
I love this as well from Morguhhh. You saw he just stepped into the stronghold and then stepped out of it. That just turned the attention of the Quadrant player who was down on those screens away, which means that he was kind of stuck between do I move towards a teammate, do I try and make a play to get the reset, and from there, they use that body system just to take him down and keep the numbers on the map. And even though they did that, you have to say that Quadrant, once again, just showing a little bit of out-rotation here. Somehow, even though they didn't have the kills go in their favor for a few moments there, they've got hold of B, they've got hold of C again, and now they are closing in on that score they need. 204, of course, is the magic number here for Quadrant.
Yep, they only have one dead right now, trying to flip A. B's being flipped at the same time, keeping an eye on both of those. C as well, so Quadrant with a moment of control, but it's answered back right away. Look at that.
Spiker Grenade's going to shred Fragxr.
Oh my god.
That's going to give them numbers, and that's Quadrant. 3 dead. SLG's chasing this one-shot player as well. Septiq will be taken down. SLG has the sniper rifle. He also has Morguhhh chasing him down, and JLINGZ Esports have turned this one on their head. Just a reminder for everyone who's watching right now, Quadrant only need 204 points.
Wow.
JLINGZ, they need everything. They need 250, and at the moment, they look like the team is more likely to do it.
Morguhhh with one repulsor left in the back pocket. Also doing everything he can at back tower as well. Does so well to take down 2 players and get damage on a 3rd as well.
Oh, on the railing! And Fragxr! It sits up like the Undertaker and hits the no-scope. That is a nutty play coming in from Fragxr.
Hits the 50-50 rail stall to 180 NFT no-scope. My god, beautiful stuff from Fragxr at back tower.
That was a non-fungible no-scope if ever I've seen one. Fragxr now, off the back of that momentum, Quadrant start to get back into this game. They have control of B and C. As I say that, they're going to flip A, but the battle for B, which has been the long story of this game so far, rages on.
This has been a battle for B. Trip cap comes in, the reset comes in at B. That's going to be everything capped for Quadrant. It still is focused on B. JLINGZ should get B here, but still, scoring on the side of Quadrant. They only need to get to 204. Still a long way to go for JLINGZ.
Yeah, they're just committed to C as well. And you can see that Qristola was taken down. So A is massive here. They need to get this into their control as soon as possible. JLINGZ, 204. Remember, that's the magic number with them putting so many resources into making sure that A didn't go back to Quadrant. Now that fight for B, which we've been talking about for so long, rages on once more. This time it looks like Quadrant have the better of it. They will be able to turn things over right at the last second.
And look at C. C-plat already being flipped, so SLG going to be very happy to have already grabbed B, but AC gets flipped now, so Quadrant needs to decide how much do they stay at B and how much do they dedicate elsewhere.
JLINGZ are flying across top middle here. It looks like they're going to try and defend A. They're trying to get in there. Oh, there's a player who's being an absolute pain, though, and that's going to be SLG. SLG, he picks up one, but Septiq now, the standout player for JLINGZ Esports, is going to have to make a highlight play. Just a few inches away from converting B, and they managed to get it done. But look at C. There's a bit of action going down for Quadrant over there.
And this is crunch time now. B and C in control. C does get stopped. You see Quadios here is able to put that damage down top middle. Now they will cross the 210-point threshold. Not a lot of room for error for them, as Quadrant only needs 204.
No room for error whatsoever. Quadios gets one. Shad makes the play onto C, it looks like here. He'll be moving in with Fragxr, and there's a player back tower. SLG hits a nice shot, needs to hit another though, but misses the shot. Qristola just made a huge play alongside Septiq to keep C in the favor of JLINGZ. He does not make that play. He does not get that kills. That's probably game 1 going to the French.
That's huge. Look at Septiq also seeing the bat signal in the sky. He knows to fly top middle, to fly back to C-plat as well with the heat wave. Only 10 points away from closing it out now.
This is massive for JLINGZ, not just in the game, but in the context of the series. Remember what we were talking about. They need to win one of these first 2 games, but now you're going to see a race coming in from Septiq to try and defend that C stronghold. Quadrant get hold of it, but here's A. That goes back over to JLINGZ.
That's a big A flip. That's huge now. 247, 248.
They're not going to get there. TchiK's trying to sprint. He might be able to jump in at the last second. Yes, he does indeed. So JLINGZ, having done so much work, have still got just a few pieces to put together at the end of this game, but you got to deal with TchiK, and they don't do it.
It's all about C. It's all about C here. They're flipping B as well. They should get one of these 2 here on the flip. Looks like they will get C.
Looks like they will be able to. One player jumps in here, but the camo play is going to be enough. Oh my word, it's a half a pixel away. The game's still going. But as we say that, finally it comes to an end. JLINGZ Esports. The momentum from yesterday rolls over into day 2 here of the EU Super. They're up 1-0.
And let's not forget, they didn't just win that game that you saw on screen. They won a continuation of game number 1. They were down by 36 points coming into that game. That's an absolutely fantastic result for them. That's a great way to start the day, not just for them, but also for us here and for you at home. That's a statement, to not just win that game, but to win the continuation without letting the Quadrant get to 204. That's a big win for them.
That is a huge win. This is something, as I say, to be honest with you, I did not expect that result to go that way from looking at history, scrims, whatever it might be. We'll look at the stats though, and we'll see who was the man to stand up. And Quad EOS,
boy,
27 kills for him. Big numbers from Quad. Great stuff coming across the board, to be honest with you, from JLINGZ there. Excuse me, my brain stopped working for 2 seconds. Quadrant, though, it's got to be disappointing for them. After yesterday, all those doubts start to creep back into the series.
Also, to start the first game up 36, which is a decent start there. It's not certainly quite a bit of a lead at the opening of a game. To start that with 36 points ahead, you have to wonder if maybe they let that get to their heads, right? Hey, we have a sizable lead. Let's play this however we want. We'll take a look at some of the highlights here, and most of them are going to be from back green.
Most of them are going to build up to that one play, by the way, that we saw from coming in from Fragxr. Even though they lost the game, that was one of the nuttiest plays I've seen in quite some time on Halo Infinite. And the man had Velcro on the bottom of his boots and managed to just stick back onto that railing. But the battle for B was continual between both these teams.
Absolutely. Here's a little triple as well. That one was going to be traded out. We saw a lot of multi-kills coming in, but this stick is huge. Morguhhh now has full shield and doesn't have to fight into that bottom green battle where everything can get nasty. Nades can come in. Little moments like that were the difference maker for JLINGZ.
Oh, it was beautiful. It was almost as if it was set up for a trailer or something, that play. But it was a very nice one indeed. But TchiK did everything he could as well at the end of this game to make that play. But it was Quad, the man who put up 27 kills with a vital trade on that C Strongholds to give them the win. And JLINGZ Esports, like I mentioned, up by 1 with a 250 to 238 win. But now we move over to Slayer. Now we move over to Recharge. Oof. And I tell you what, JLINGZ Esports are going to be out for blood here.
They absolutely are, and now you see just how close that game really was once you have both games tallied together with the 250 to 238 on your scoreboard there. You see how just close that one was. Excuse me, a lot of words to say here early on in the day. But now we said JLINGZ all of a sudden find themselves in a situation that, as we said, not only did they not think they were going to be in yesterday, but now they're in a place where they're 1-0 up against Quadrant and a position to maybe go 2-0 in the series.
Yeah, it's a huge opportunity for them to do so. And when a team is down and had a bad day one, you need to put them down. It's as simple as that. And Quadrant, they've got to find a little bit of spirit here. Someone needs to step up on this team and say, I'm going to be the one to drag us through the mud and get us back into this series. We'll have to see who that's going to be. But as you see, we're moving into Recharge. We've got a little bit of Slayer in front of us, and that shock rifle is going to be pivotal in who gets the lead and who might be able to hold that control.
We saw some highlights yesterday with that shock rifle, which what we expect to see, certainly, but these European teams popping off and putting on a show. Here we go. Game number 2, JLINGZ leading right now, upsetting in the series so far over Quadrant 1-0.
Well, let's see what happens off the opening break here for the two teams. Let's see who manages to assert some sort of control. Who manages to get hold of that first power-up, that camouflage, of course, and who managed to steal away and pick up that shock rifle. It looks like at the moment, the camo is still going to be down, and JLINGZ Esports are going to be able to get that power-up. So that is stage 1 of an opening strategy, right? Everyone's battling for that camouflage. Septiq looks like he might be thinking about the sword, but who's got the shock rifle? Who's managed to get control of that? Septiq gets taken down and spotted out with a camo.
And Septiq, maybe you got to call out about a player bottom control. One of the reasons he pushed there, maybe he just wanted to take a different route and not get caught out at sword, but regardless, it does not pay off for him in the end.
Quadrant, a man who hopped off in that first game. Probably sat at 1-1 in the statistics at the start of this game. Quadrant is going to put his second on the board, though.
Look at that.
Alongside Qristola. The push comes in from Quadrant, but it's held quite easily here from JLINGZ Esports. Just kills flowing towards them. 6-6. Make that 7 as Morguhhh is going to work with Qristola to take down SLG.
3 dead. I'm surprised SLG from the B-box there decides to challenge and just get melted there instead of just running away long haul. He was one of the only players alive in that scenario. So far a very good start, but that grapple not really catching the exact way that Qristola wanted. So now he's going to have to zip back out.
Yeah, that box is concreted and fastened down. You ain't getting through that one. As Qristola now has to move towards his teammates, and they're all going to be fighting around C-Plat, using that movement to get into the battle against TchiK. He knows he's got support around the corner as well, but TchiK manages to put Qristola on his back. And to be fair to Qristola there, I feel like maybe he was left out to dry a little bit by his teammates. Yeah,
Qristola was like, hey guys, follow me, I'm zipping in, and then the help really didn't come. It was a great aggression, also great shots, but TchiK, pretty great play to drop back, isolate the 1v1 on the back ramp, and then win it.
Yeah, sometimes when you've got those awkward angles to fight with from above looking down on control, it can be a little bit nasty. Speaking of which, SLG is making a few nasty plays himself to get his team back into this game. They're down by 3, but when you give SLG power weapons and when you give him power-ups, you wouldn't be surprised to see this one turn on its head right now. Excuse me, it's actually Quadrant who do have a 4-kill advantage now, looking to extend it. SLG with some shots onto Morguhhh, picks up one. Qristola has a little say in the conversation, but will be taken down.
Nice job from SLG. See that discipline there. Just knows that he could pop a little bit of damage with a shock rifle and stay alive with that camo. Have the trust that a teammate is going to come in and clean that one up. That will now extend their lead to 6.
Has to be careful with SLG. Knows he's got the camo, but I was just about to say it will expire pretty soon. Now he's going to back up and just hold a couple of angles. SLG still with this weapon in his hand. You can almost sense that JLINGZ know he's got it, right? And if there's anyone on the other team who's going to have a weapon... Oh, no!
Oh, no!
Oh, a little bit of a whiff from Morguhhh.
It cost him, though.
I mean, it worked. It worked in the end. He got the kill, and SLG gets taken down.
But maybe not a trade there. Maybe he doesn't trade out a 1-for-1. Maybe he gets both sword kills if he hits the first lunge, just due to how heavy and timely that sword lunge is in Halo Infinite. So maybe a little bit of a mistake there from Morguhhh. That sword will be traded out, but... here we go. Game was within 1 kill.
It is indeed, and it's going to be Septiq now with the opportunity to hit some shots and drag his team hopefully into a lead if you're a JLINGZ esports fans. A little quick scope up onto the battle edge. He's going to hit a body, and Quad has that sword as well. So weapons certainly in the hands of JLINGZ to make this comeback. Well, you can see the Quadrant are aware of that as well, Andy. They're not poking.
TchiK aware that there's a player here, still Septiq over on C-Plat. That sword, though, should have gone in the hands of Quadrant over a tower. That could be a factor as well. There you go, right on your screen. Perfect timing from our observers. It went in the hands of Fragxr.
SLG starting to heat up a little bit as well in the kill feed.
Oh.
Septiq had to hit that shot as well because his teammates were falling all around him. And if you don't hit those kind of shots, then all of a sudden off the respawn, you find yourself under pressure.
Wants to set the repulsor here.
He's got a little bit of time on his side. Like you mentioned, he's got that repulsor, so he's not too worried about the two players are going to be pushing. He's also got a little bit of help coming through the tunnel.
What the? Sword dropped their repulsor. Doesn't hit through the crate, so they're going to have to win this 1v2.
Should be comfortable to do so. Another player going to be pushing underneath, though, and the time that it's taken to win that fight might have made that a little bit awkward.
Yeah.
27 to 23, though. JLINGZ looking a little bit split on the map at the moment. It looks like a few of these pushes, just the pieces not quite going together.
I was going to say, awkward's the best way to describe that. Very rarely do you see these scenarios where repulsors aren't hitting and players are pushing all the way back Hydro. You've got kind of 1v2s happening repeatedly back here. After all that, though, in the end, Morguhhh will end up with the sword again, 35% ammo in it, and it's a 4-kill game.
Going to get pushed once again, though. Shad putting the damage down, trying to escape. TchiK's going to be flying in to try and clean things up. And you can see that Quadrant know that he's got the sword here, right? They would have seen it in the kill feed. It would have been called out. So that's why they're just hesitant to push. They don't need to push at this point. Morguhh's just kind of playing his life, playing back blue, until he gets the opportunity to push. But again,
the early swipe.
A little bit hasty on the trigger. And what could have been 2 only ends up as 1.
When in doubt, you got to wait just a little bit longer with that sword. Do not let that slash come out early. The animation timing will cost you way too much. Better to wait that extra second. It has now cost Morguhhh twice. And maybe the difference maker in the game, if we're honest, 33-27.
You can feel the nerves in this game.
Yeah.
And I think both teams realize how important this game actually is. Not only for the series, but maybe for the tournament overall for both these teams. Quadrant now have SLG with a shock rifle in his hand again. Almost surprising to see him not connect with that headshot as well, and knowing the consistency of this man when you put any kind of precision weapon in his hand.
Also holding this long haul angle, knows that the pressure could come from long haul at any time. Has the grapple if he needs to get out at any time as well. But like you said, they're pretty happy just playing the control game here.
Looks like Quadrant are trying to set up a push onto A as well to push towards tower, but one player does fall, which is just going to slow things down for a second. You can see the SLG trying to work with a teammate Fragxr here, but again, an opportunity to hit a headshot, which just isn't taken by SLG.
Lucky for Septiq there that doesn't hit. In the end, though, will be cleaned up, so that'll extend their lead to 5.
JLINGZ has spent a lot of time trapped in tower. As we jump on board with Qristola now, trying to keep his teammate Morguhhh alive. Qristola has managed to get that camouflage, but like you see in the kill feed, SLG steps up and puts the shock away to use the commando rifle this time to extend that lead to 5. Now, if it starts to get out of hand and it gets more than 5 or 6, you start to worry here for JLINGZ. The next few moments in this game, so vital for them.
Absolutely pivotal. Great play from SLG there. He goes C-Plat to finish the kill on the weird angle into Hydro, then bails out immediately off of C-Plat to stay alive. It's the little difference makers that are slowly adding up on the scoreboard, but that's the second time we've seen Quadios and Qristola make the pipes push and pre-nade it and pick up the kills. That brings the game within 3.
And they might be able to bring it even closer now as Septiq is going to get a little bit of help from Quad, and now you're going to see the push coming in from JLINGZ, and finally, it looks like they've been released from the trap they've been in for quite some time. It's a 1-kill game here.
How patient was JLINGZ through that entire exchange? They let the game slow all the way down through that entire maybe 2-3 minutes of play, and just like that, they now take the lead, 37-36.
The resilience being shown from JLINGZ is very, very impressive. The teamwork, the communication, everything you could hope for really is starting to come together for them. It's very easy to see games get out of control. Like you were saying, when you don't have control of the map, when you don't have control of that shock rifle. And for now, they've managed to keep this one close, tied up at 39-39. It could not be closer.
Absolutely not. Morguhhh and Quadrant are going to fly for the long haul angle. Look at the trap they've got going on here. 3 players here, 1 player on batteries. They have complete control of the map. They can even afford to go pipes right now. This is great stuff from JLINGZ, and I think they just wore down the patience of Quadrant.
They did indeed.
They perfectly timed the pipes push there. They got in for free, and now tied up at 40.
I mean, if you wanted to kind of put in context how nervy this game is, how much is riding on this game, if JLINGZ win this one, they're only 1 map away from knocking Quadrant down to the elimination bracket. If Quadrant lose this one, they're probably thinking, we've got to go back 3 back-to-back wins to turn this one on its head and pull off a reverse sweep. This is a massive moment in the series, maybe even in the tournament for both these teams.
I would say the same thing, absolutely. This has huge stakes for the entire tournament and the huge prize pool that is associated with it now, 43-42 in favor of JLINGZ. Shad with the game in his hands, camo repulsor sword for this man.
The new pickup picks up 1. However, in the kill feed, Morguhhh's picking up 2. Septiq picks up another one as well as the camo disappears. And maybe the hopes of a Game 2 victory have just disappeared here as well for Quadrant. They need to pick up 7 kills, make that 6 as SLG sniffs out Qristola, but it's only 3 kills to go now for JLINGZ to go up by 2.
Quadrant with another kill at pipes. Look at that on screen. He keeps doing that. 3-kill game though, 47-44, far from over 3 minutes on the clock.
It's a standstill. JLINGZ know they don't have to do anything. Quadrant have to make the push. They could just wait this one out for 2 minutes and 50 seconds if they wanted to. Allow 1 player to step into the open, to make a mistake and then take advantage of it. JLINGZ can taste victory here. And in a few moments' time, they might be 1 game away from sending Quadrant down to the elimination bracket.
Good chance it comes down to the next camo with how slow this is right now. As you said, this has slowed down to a crawl, an absolute standstill, and a standoff. You cannot afford, whatever you do on either side of the stage right now, you cannot afford to be losing these battles before the power-up pops. 23 seconds before camo. It's a very good chance that that camo battle and whoever grabs determines the winner of the game.
Now, I wonder if JLINGZ Esports are thinking, let's do something before that camo pops up. Let's try and catch them off guard.
Yep.
Because Quadrant are just thinking right now, we have to get the camo. We can't afford to give away a kill on our way to do so.
How does Septiq have the bottom elevator angle as well? They've got all the angles right now. They've got everything. Look at this, a huge play. Great call once again from observers. They forced them all the way into control and long haul.
They're trapped. Camo's up. SLG's trying to make a play as well. You can see at the top of gold as well that there's a play being made by TchiK, I think that is. Quadrant is going to pick one up though, and there's another one for Quadrant. A double kill. And now JLINGZ Esports only need 1, but Shad answers back, but it's Qristola.
Wow.
With the final kill of the game. And JLINGZ Esports showing all sorts of ice in those final moments.
Great stuff from them throughout the entire game to bring it back in the way that they did. Keep in mind, they were down by about 6 or 7 throughout the entire game.
A ridiculous game. You know, the way that they managed to hold their deaths for so long.
Yeah.
So many times we'll see Recharge Slayer, right? And we see a team go down by 4, and then it's 8, it's 12. People start to get picked off. They just played their lives so well. The patience and the discipline that they showed in that game was exceptional.
It absolutely was to come up in the end. Let's take a look at the stats for them to come out on top, 50-46. Such a close game. Kills, really shared across the board on the side of JLINGZ.
Yeah, they certainly were, and it's that man Septiq again. You're looking at 12 and 9. Good stats. At 13 assisted. That is huge. So a lot of the plays being made around the damage being done by Septiq. But even though Quadrant went negative, I think it was 1 overall on the KD, I want to give him a big shout out there, because how many times in those kind of standoffs did you see Quad popping up and getting that first kill to open up the map?
Taking a look at now some of the highlights from that fantastic game number 2. So back and forth. And as you see, even on your screen, it's a early 6-kill lead for a moment there for the side of Quadrant. They thought they were sitting pretty, but it really was that timing push that came in the end, that double pipes push after about 2 minutes of standstill. Here's the push on your screen here. You're seeing just the end of it. Quadrant and Qristola able to take control of yellow. They grabbed the sword, they grabbed the shock rifle, and from there, they just slowly started to trade. At the end, though, Onset, what you described was absolutely perfect. They needed an angle that allowed them to get risky before the camo popped, but here's a look at the series layout.
Well, the good thing for Quadrant is this is, of course, the map and mode that JLINGZ Esports dropped yesterday in their series against Blackhand. So, they obviously need to win it, otherwise they're going down to the elimination bracket, but that little maybe semblance of there is an opportunity, there is a chance, we know they're not as strong on this game type as they were maybe on the previous two, is what they've got to hold on to now. Because I've got to be honest with you, this is a massive, massive shock to see Quadrant in this position, especially after the day one they had.
Certainly, this is a huge shock. I bet the comms over there are quite nervous, and I'm not really sure if they know how to react to this, but this will be the test. We'll find out here. I tell you what, Quadrant going to be thanking their lucky stars that this is game 3 in the series, because maybe it sets them up for a reverse sweep. Maybe this is the game and the game type that they needed to bounce back and get ready for Saturday.
So much pressure on Quadrant. French fans at home, it's time to get behind your boys. Quadrant fans, it's time to get behind your boys, because otherwise it could be a long, long road for them through that elimination bracket if they want to have any semblance of an opportunity to get into that grand finals or even into the last stages of the tournament at this point. For JLINGZ, what a performance they have put in, not just yesterday, but obviously in this series as well. They will want to close things out. Septiq, the man who we watched right at the start here, but TchiK, he was a standout yesterday. Maybe he has to drag his team forward.
Got to give respect to the guys on JLINGZ, though. TchiK, you're going to grab Heatwave and Camo on your screen. That'll set them up for success because they have 3 dead already off the opening.
They do have 3 dead. Now they need to take advantage of that 3 dead. Need to be aggressive. Need to show, the fact that they're going to throw everything they can at their opponents here in this game. TchiK is going to choose to leave that flag to a teammate. He's going to try and go for these kills as well on the fridge, but gets taken down. Shad is moving that flag though, but how far away has he managed to get it? Already down bottom car.
Very nice slide as well. We'll get him all the way into his utility already, and even though they didn't have all the kills they maybe needed, they're going to run this one right in. They've got 3 players come from utility. That will go in for sure. Early cap on the board within 55 seconds for the side of Quadrant.
Okay, Quadrant. I see you. It's time for you to step up, and it's time for you to go back-to-back in flag caps. Put the pressure back on at JLINGZ. Keep map control. Keep them pinned in those spawns. You can already see TchiK is stepping forward to do exactly that.
And like we said, this is the game type the Quadrant can really strike here. And if this wasn't game 3, this might be a tougher road for them. But this might be a game type where they can win 5-1, 5-0, and start to steamroll. Get the momentum they were expecting to start the day with.
Sometimes all it takes, right, is just one moment in a series to turn things around. One flag cap.
Yeah.
We might have just seen that. You can see how much more confident the Quadrant look in their fights. Fragxr already running that second flag as well, as JLINGZ find themselves not only with the second flag moving, but 2 players already in the respawn as well.
And also the first spawner getting shot and lit up bottom middle as well. Fragxr going to try to make this one all the way home, but both flags pulled right now.
Might have to try and force this one into the base. Just defend it for now. Instead, he's going to step forward. I like this from Fragxr, trying to keep the pressure on, but look at the overextension coming in from Qristola across to the pink side of the map, and now he's going to have that flag down and away from the Quadrant base. So the team fight is everything here, Andy.
Look at the flank. Qristola's gotten in. No one has seen him just yet. Might be able to make something happen there in the back of the base.
Might be able to, and Quadios was the player again. He picked up a double kill. So Quad making plays, but now you're going to see 2 players hop on the return. The question is anybody in position to send it back? And it is. Both flags are going to be sent home. Qristola did make that play, like you said. So a stalemate, which ends up stale in the scoreline. It's still 1-0 here, Quadrant.
You might have been thinking the same thing that I was, maybe viewers at home as well. When we saw Qristola leave that flag, I didn't immediately know of a spawner that was there to grab that. He dropped that with the intention of a spawner grabbing the flag. In the end, it's an easy return hop, but they also respond with a return of their own, so we will stay here at 1-0.
3 dead here for Quadrant. JLINGZ trying to finally get inside of the base, it feels like. They've spent most of this game on the back foot. And they finally want to try and apply a little bit of pressure to the French quartet's base. Morguhhh going to be just taking his time here, waiting for the damage to be done to move in with Quadios. And now a chance to move in and do that damage. Get that flag moving, leaves the kill inside of the base to his teammate, and he will pick it up. Septiq does a great job. It's 4 dead here for Quadrant. JLINGZ with a huge opportunity to tie this game up.
Gotta love that. The enforcement line, the Bash brothers there of Morguhhh and Quadios coming in. They're just landing melees on the same player. They're just absolutely Mike Tyson punch-out style, coming through that pace and making quick work of it. They will put a flag on the board as well, and how fitting. We're tied 1-1 here in game number 3.
It's like me and Wes trying to fight over the last Swedish delicacy.
The last cinnamon roll.
Yeah, the last cinnamon roll that's left in the green room, but Morguhhh He's going to have a pretty clear run across the map here, and you can see with 3 players dead that Quadrant are going to have not so much fun off the respawn. JLINGZ having just capped 1 flag to tie this one up. We're talking about cinnamon rolls. They're talking about taking a lead. Quad's inside of the base, and he will put JLINGZ into the lead.
That's right, JLINGZ rolling indeed without a doubt. Going to have to clean out this kill out of the fridge, but might not be the easiest thing actually, as Quad's going to have to figure this one out. And in the end, we'll win that punch out. Still 2 dead for Quadrant off of that. Now on board with SLG.
Now, fight's the equivalent of getting the right answer in a maths question, but being asked to show your workings and not being able to do so. SLG moving through the closet here to try and apply a little bit of pressure to the JLINGZ base, but if there's one thing I maybe wanted to see tested a little bit here for JLINGZ Esports is how do you deal with the pressure? Because at the moment, they've had it all their way, right? They've managed to get those first two games on the board. They've managed to deal with going down 1-0 pretty well in this game number 3 as well. They're defending their base extremely well, and they just seem to be, just the chemistry is all there for them at the moment. Everything they could want to be going their way is going their way.
There's the camo as well. It's a late pop for Septiq. He's got 1 more dynamo in the pocket to work with, trying to stay alive, doing everything he can up top middle. Like camo will eventually run out. So an even 4-4 across the board.
Great play from Shad though, using that thrust to at least pick up 1 kill. But look at the teamwork again. As mentioned, Shad, and he's immediately taken down by Qristola. SLG will answer back to Qristola. Psychic battle goes down. Quad's going to win that one. 3 dead again for Quadrant.
Nice little last shot metal comes in there. Confidence and a double kill as well for Quad. He's going to continue to work the utility side of the map. Knows that back base spawners might be coming. That's why he's playing this slow.
Knows he hasn't got any support from a teammate as well, right? So like you say, playing this slow, knowing that even if he gets 1 kill, it's more than likely to be traded out. And you ain't going to get flags moving if you're getting traded out inside of the base. So just waiting for teammates to push up. And he is such a nuisance because Quadrant will know where he is and know they have to deal with him.
Shad is actually the player who's now been assigned to try to take down Quad. He eventually does. So eventually Quadrant finds their way out of that and they will trade 2-2. But my God, did they ever have to work for it?
Yeah, they did have to work for it. And look where Shad is right now, inside of his own base, waiting for his teammates to respawn. So JLINGZ is going to be able to get up to that 50-yard line again, put pressure onto respawners, and still Quadrant no opportunity to get inside of the JLINGZ base.
Camo is now where we're focusing our sights on. All players jumping top middle, unsurprisingly. Shad is a bit alone here, though. Going to have to be careful, and he also bonks his head on top middle. You have to see it. So now that's going to be resulting in a free camo grab because of that top mid jump. Septiq camo in hand.
5 minutes 40 left in this game as well, and every single second that ticks past, JLINGZ Esports move closer and closer to not just a series win, but a 3-0 statement against Quadrant. Septiq with an opportunity for a double. He's going to pick up 1 because his teammate was there to help him out and give him a helping hand. Last player alive is going to be above him. He's going to get chased down here with that camouflage. But with the way this series is going, you almost expected him to turn that one, but SLG steps up and finally gives Quadrant something to sing about.
Yeah, Septiq did so well there to just play camo and just ping, 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 just decide exactly when he wants to engage. SLG, also did really well to get back into his utility and win that battle. 5 minutes on the clock, though, and at 2-1, there's still a lot of Halo to play in this game. Shad gonna try to start a flag run if he can.
As crazy as it sounds at the moment, I feel like Quadrant are just overthinking how to approach this, right?
So
you see they're getting forward, they're picking up a couple of kills, and then there's like a stutter. It's like, do we run the flag? Do we go for kills? And that 2 seconds, it's all the difference here, Andy, for getting that flag moving or making the decision to put pressure on those spawners.
That's right, 4 dead there. 1 was a fresh spawner, but Morguhhh cleans out the back of his base. Going to also time the thrust. Very nicely done here. You don't always see that, even from top teams. Very nicely done for Morguhhh. He'll eventually die, but still on top of those thrusts, using every piece of the map to their advantage.
Another minute passes. No action. No chance for Quadrant to tie things up. Shad pushing into that fridge, overextending on the P side, but the only problem is if you overextend on that P side, you're going to block those spawns. So even if you pick kills up and you get into the base, you're going to have to deal with those car spawners, maybe even back flag spawners. So they need to put pressure on one side of the map here at the moment, Quadrant, and it looks like the pink call is coming in.
Pressure is on. It's crazy to say, and as we said, we did not expect to be here in this match, let alone in a 2-0 lead for JLINGZ. And now I think Quadrant, if they haven't felt it yet, double kills coming in there for the side of Morguhhh and Septiq. It's going to be 2 dead, 3 dead now for Quadrant once again.
Yeah, really good hold here for JLINGZ Esports. Risky, I have to say, playing in the back of the base like that and making sure that you get trades. At least if they don't go your way, then you probably leave yourself open to a cap going against you. But they get those kills, and now they push forward. This is more like I want to see coming in from JLINGZ, putting the pressure back onto Quadrant. 3 dead, camo in the hands of Qristola.
Look at the timing when they get 4 dead. Look at the work there. Also, the damage getting done across the map. Great work from them, and they're starting to slowly move forward a bit more. Great shots from Qristola for the double kill as well.
Using that camo to really pin back Quadrant inside of the base at the moment. Another great grenade from Qristola is going to allow him to push up, but look at the teamwork from Septiq. He's there and the flag is moving. Qristola there to provide some cover as well. Now, if JLINGZ can cut off this pink overextension on the respawners, this could be pretty much game, you would imagine, with how the pace of things has gone so far. It's 2-1 right now. Fragxr is the man behind enemy lines.
Fragxr, and I think TchiK is here. Shad is here as well, so they need to make sure they don't try to force this one. One is dead on the side of JLINGZ. It looks like the return's already coming in as they stack several players in there. They will get the return as well.
But look at that, Septiq. One dynamo grenade, and Septiq with a battle rifle. Oh, he's just overkilled him. He's just taken out every single player from Quadrant. You cannot let that happen if you are Quadrant. Septiq, oh, it's a god play, but you can't be allowed the opportunity to make it.
A top play from the top player in the tournament here, leading the entire scene in Europe over the course of Friday. Highest KD, and showing it off there. He single-handedly stops the entire Quadrant run.
I mean, if you needed an example of miscommunication coming in from Quadrant and how things are looking, how things are probably sounding in the comms, that was it. One dynamo grenade. Picks up a double kill. You see where that dynamo's coming from. He then walks into closet, out-BRs one player without being shot by the last. A mess from Quadrant, but brilliance coming in from Septiq.
They stacked essentially 4 players in utility for both the return and the flag run. That is a recipe for disaster when you're on the Dynamo side of the map. Septiq took advantage of it. We will stay at 2-1. And guess what? Only 1:36 left on the clock.
Now let's see them not make those mistakes again. Septiq with great defensive grenades from the respawn, but it's 2 versus 2 on the map. And SLG has the flag in his hands. Quadrant, they fell apart just a few seconds ago, but now they've started to piece themselves together. They have the opportunity with 1 minute and 18 seconds on the clock to tie up this game. They will do so. SLG puts the flag home, and we now have 1 minute and 10 seconds left to find potentially a winner with another flag.
Was 3 dead for just a second for Quadrant. And you see SLG getting actually chased out of his own base here. So the flag run will start for the side of JLINGZ.
SLG's managed to wrap back behind that flag though. Keep an eye on the feed. Oh, 3 dead for Quadrant.
He's last guy.
SLG is last player alive, but by wrapping back, he's at least going to get the stop.
And Dynamos.
The Dynamos are there. Morguhhh is going to try and survive, but SLG needed to make the play, and SLG does.
Look at this. He still has to kill at least 1 more player. They do. He gets the help. He stays alive. That's a perfect route from SLG.
It could not have been more perfect, right? If he doesn't make those decisions, he doesn't pick up those Dynamos, it's a different game. SLG's just saved not only Quadrant in this game, but maybe the upper bracket run as well.
27 seconds left here. He had to stop the run because he lost Shad in the back of the base, but 2 dead for each side.
2 dead for each side. Killing spree for SLG. He's going to come under pressure, though, inside of the closet. You can see that JLINGZ know that they have to send that flag home. They win the battle, and it's Qristola who steps up. Very
good shots from Qristola. He got the clear first shot in that battle, then he did not back down, kept on pushing utility, and keeps holding forward. Looks like going to be not a flag grab here, though.
1 second left. We're going into overtime, everybody, in this game. And number 3 now, JLINGZ Esports. You went to overtime yesterday against Blackhand on this map, and they did not get the win. They picked up the L, so Quadrant have the opportunity to send this to a game 4 to keep their upper bracket hopes alive. We're watching a little bit of Septiq here, the man who made probably the play of the tournament so far.
Play of the tournament without a doubt. That overkill there taking down Quadrant 1 at a time. 1, 2, 3, 4. Picks them all up and keeps his team in this one. Of course, they would forfeit a second flag in the end, so we are now in overtime.
Oh my.
3 dead there. Now going to be 2 fresh spawners.
Can he get this one around the corner? Can he get this one around the corner? The answer is yes! No! The answer isn't yes. There was too many corners for him to navigate.
The answer was yes, no, which happens from time to time. Difficult to deal with, but Morguhhh and team still going to try to get these slays. He's the last player alive. He picks up a big one. He can wrap here and still catch off this player who's getting the return.
Oh!
Not able to get the touch. He stays alive and gets 2 kills, though, so his team should be able to get this stop.
You say that, but look at this. TchiK is just forcing this one home. Damage is taken, but TchiK's inside of the base.
What a
and
run.
Quadrant, oh, a little start step. Is that going to cost him? Is anyone in position here? He's got a teammate with him. He takes damage from the grenade. It's a mess.
It's a cap.
But it's going to be a cap, and with that, Quadrant send us to a game 4.
Wow.
I wasn't ready. I mean, I had a hearty breakfast this morning, Andy. I've had a few coffees, but I've got to be honest, I was not ready for this kind of series.
No. Especially with these 2 teams, what a series it has been. my God, Quadrant sneaks out the overtime win after trailing for what seemed like the last 7 minutes of regulation. And you have to think maybe just a little bit too aggressive on that first flag run from JLINGZ. They tried to round the corner. They really wanted to make that flag run. Let's take a look at the overall stats, though. Everyone pretty close here. The one outlier really going to be Fragxr there on your screen, 8 and 21. Everyone else pretty close in terms of overall KD.
Yeah, that's a strange stat.
Yeah.
Nothing else to say about it, to be honest with you. Very, very strange stat coming in from Fragxr. Usually one of the players who's putting up most damage and most kills for his team. But it wasn't to be in that game, but it doesn't matter. Who cares? He's got the most important stat on the board, and that is the 3-2 overtime win. And to be honest with you, JLINGZ probably never going to want to see Aquarius capture the flag again, because that is twice they've played it in the tournament so far, and twice they've lost it in that overtime ruling.
Interesting caps coming in. Here's the Bash Brothers run that we saw from JLINGZ to answer back with the flag in that util run. Let's not forget, Quadrant scored 55 seconds into the game.
Yep.
Then it's forced to OT, and they're the first to cap here. You saw the game went up to 2-1. Great stuff there from Quad there with the sidekick. And it looked like it was going to be a JLINGZ victory up until the last minute of play.
Yeah, I mean, I got little Halo Reach flashbacks there. Bloom days with the
lots of sprinting, lots of melees.
Just hoping that that last shot lands before your opponents. And Quad got the better of that one here. But, I mean, this final run, this play from SLG, by the way,
enormous.
I was hammering Quadrant just a few seconds before this for allowing Septiq to make the play that he did. But this was genius from SLG.
Absolutely beautiful. You talked about how he doubled back there to take the unsuspecting route. They're looking for spawners on the other side. By the way, TchiK fumbling this, watch the grenades. The fumble might have saved it because he would have been around that corner at that exact same time.
True. It's so true.
It's crazy. Eventually, they had 3 there on the flag, so if I'm honest, they were probably going to cap no matter what in the end. But that's a heartbreaking result for JLINGZ, because what was only 1 minute and 14 seconds away from a 3-0 is now a 2-1 series heading into Game 4.
Talk about momentum. Winning in overtime really does give you a boost. Probably just given Quadrant a little bit of belief that maybe they can win this series now. Maybe they can pull off that reverse sweep, because now we move towards our next game type, which is going to be Streets Oddball. One thing to note here, JLINGZ beat Blackhand on this yesterday.
Yep.
They managed to take home the win on this game type. We mentioned how the previous one they lost, so this is going to be an extremely tight game between these two. I fancy a Game 5. I've got to be honest with you. I can see it.
Let's go.
I can see it.
Let's go the distance here. We're going to see if that's the case or if JLINGZ can manage to close it out in 4. Streets Oddball going to be our next game type, an opportunity for them to close out Quadrant, potentially, though, maybe forcing a Game 5 here and completing the reverse sweep. But first, they'll have to take down JLINGZ here on Streets.
Could not be more pressure on these teams. JLINGZ just moments away from being able to pick up the 3-0 victory against Quadrant to send them down to the elimination bracket, and now they might find themselves in for not just one more game, but 2 and maybe even a nail-biting Game 5 here. But to start off with, SLG, the man who made a huge play towards the end of that game. Unfortunately, he's going to have to watch the death screen for a few seconds, as his teammates will also do so as well.
It's all 4 dead. That's going to be a ball grab and a rocket grab for the side of JLINGZ, and they really could not have asked for a better start. Let's see where Septiq goes with the rocks here.
Not going to go too far, but the looks of things, he's going to wait for Shad to push. And now he's going to warn him with that rocket. Doesn't connect, but he's also got the Stalker rifle to clean up the damage. Now, Qristola's the player with the ball in his hands. JLINGZ are the team with the ball in their hands as well, and it looks like the tram setup is working for them. A couple of kills go in their favor. Qristola may be thinking about a rotation here.
Maybe at least a little play ball. They're going to drop it down C-ramp. I like that play because they can make the Neons rotate if they need, but they're still going to try to stay alive at tram.
Morguhhh and Qristola do their job. They pick up kills, and also you can see Septiq with his Stalker rifle. That's going to be 4 dead if they get that final kill on the player on commando. 3 players do fall, but you can see that Shad is still being somewhat of a nuisance. But with the players, of course, in the respawn screen, it looks like Septiq and JLINGZ will keep control of this tram setup, keep control of that oddball, as Morguhhh is hovering around the back, just watching that commando jump.
Shad does what he can. He gets 1 kill. He backs down to stay alive so that he can re-engage even faster with his team. He'll be trading out now. 3 for 1 so far. It's a good push from Quadrant.
A good push, but maybe a missed opportunity to pick up a couple of kills there in the back of the base for JLINGZ. Now we see TchiK with the ball in his hands. Keep my eyes on Fragxr as well, just to see if he steps up with those stats that we saw from the last game. 3 and 3 at the start of this one. TchiK with the ball in his hands. And Fragxr, perfect time to step up and hit those kind of shots.
Oh. Thought about coming out with the Bulldog, said this is not the kind of party you bring a Bulldog to. Came right back down B stairs. Can't blame him for that one. Doing whatever he can to stay alive here just in this nook.
Quadrant is going to be pushing mid-map though. Quadrant has managed to kind of slip through the setup here. Shad is going to have those spike grenades trying to deny him from moving forward, but Quadrant once again just seems to be the playmaker for this team at the moment. He's just kind of slithering through the defenses of Quadrant.
3 dead yet again, not the best rocket from Morguhhh, but still going to try to hold Arcade as long as he can. It's great stuff so far from JLINGZ.
Quadrant has the ball in his hands. And they're still scoring points here, JLINGZ. Complete control, you have to say, has been in their hands. Only that one moment where Quadrant managed to pick up that oddball. And even then, it was kind of a transitional setup, right? They didn't have a clean 4 dead. They didn't have the numbers on their side. And once again, they try and scrap a little bit of time, but JLINGZ have control of the map.
Nice job from Morguhhh here to hit the pizza jump, to thrust up top as well. Thought about grabbing the ball, but knows he needs to make sure that he just anchors here in the back of the base with the Bulldog out.
52 to 22. Morguhhh going to be backing down here. Luckily, that player doesn't have grenades, but he does have the ability to challenge and slide. Morguhhh probably should have got that kill with the Bulldog in his hands.
Morguhhh wondering maybe if he even should have gone for a BR with that kill, right? Maybe just a BR earlier because he had to close the distance, but the thrust anyway, it would have taken 4 total Bulldog shots. Probably an indicator that he could have won that one with the BR. In the end, though, still great stuff from JLINGZ overall. Almost doubling that of their opponents here, certainly with the upper hand in this first round.
Septiq trying to be sneaky. He'll pick up 1 and does damage to Shad as well. He's going to be down to no shields. But look at that. The oddball going to be stolen away. It's going to be out-rotated. It's going to be moved back towards PD. And now Shad realizes, hey, where's that ball? Wait a minute. I've got to try and move all the way across the map. SLG is going to make it easier. And TchiK is going to be able to pick up that middle lane. But will be traded out. Septiq last player alive here for JLINGZ. Ball down. Septiq trying to clean up some of these kills on ties.
Gets 1 and he stays alive. Oh boy, Bulldog there on the other side of plants though. So this will be a tough battle for him. But SLG and TchiK trying to win the battles at back A, but look where the spawns come in for JLINGZ at Cafe.
Made a great push down that pink street as well. So now they have to just play for a few kills here. And the same can be said for Quadrant on the other side of things. Kills are going to be much easier to play for though when you've got a rocket launcher in your hands, and Quadrant do have it, but no connection whatsoever! With 2 rockets from Shad. Finally slides in to pick up the kill. 2 players down here for JLINGZ. Where's that oddball though? And you can see that Quadrant are trying to force this one back towards the tower.
Might not seem like a big deal, but not getting 2 kills with those 2 rockets, only trading out 1 that you had to finish anyway on your own. It's a big difference maker. When you have your opponents leading you 61 to 38, you need to make sure you are efficient with those rockets. 2 dead for each side. Rotation here for Quadrant.
Quadrant starting to get him back into this one a little bit. Septiq and SLG are going to be trading kills. If you wanted an illustration, an artistic impression of how close this series has been, then there is the perfect example of it.
I was going to say, you could not ask for a better encapsulation of exactly how tight these 2 teams are. Perfect battle rifle trade from 2 of the best players in Europe. Bottom middle here now 63 to 41. Morguhhh with the Bulldog in hand. He'll popping tires and keep rolling around this B side of the map.
That was the last player alive for Quadrant as well. So JLINGZ have a chance here to maybe even close out this round. They only need 25 points to do so and put themselves 1-0 up in our Oddball Streets game. And this might be the last opportunity for a push actually coming in from Quadrant. Morguhhh playing his life beautifully here, and if he can stay alive with this pressure coming in, not only does he have the Bulldog, but he can do so much damage with his Stalker Rifle, he's going to do exactly that.
2 dead for both sides. Big 2v2 in the back of A courtyard now.
Ooh, player pops up! I think Morguhhh might have got a little bit fortunate there, and Qristola is going to clean things up in the courtyard. The janitor comes in, and with that picks up the oddball. Now it's just around 14 points, 13. It ticks down second by second here for JLINGZ Esports to go up by 1-0.
And rotate again. Look at that. Rotating over to Cafe to Neons as the B spawns and the tire spawns come in. It's perfect work from Qristola. Also just playing the ball back to A. They're going to rotate all the way back down to Bulldog. Looks like the pressure will come. No, the round will end. JLINGZ Esports, they take the first round, and now only 1 round away from sending Quadrant to the elimination bracket.
What a story it would be in just our first series of the day here in the EU Super. Septiq has been phenomenal so throughout this tournament. Unfortunately, wow, he gets absolutely blamed in the head by that Stalker Rifle. Rockets will be down, but Morguhhh keeping pressure on for just a few seconds with that Bulldog. Qristola taken down by the rocket launcher, which Fragxr managed to pick up, but SLG with this gun in his hand can do a huge amount of damage.
SLG, the man on your screen, actually the one who just took out the player there with rockets, and this goes very different if he doesn't hit that Stalker Rifle shot, to be honest. They've still got 2 dead. It's a very different start for the side of Quadrant.
What are you made of, Quadrant? That's the question now. What are you made of? Are you going to fold? Are you going to just kind of wilt in this series, in this tournament? With 100K on the line for these teams, or Do you got something more about you? Have you got a little bit of heart? Have you got a little bit more desire to fight your way back into this series? A good early tram hold is going to indicate that they don't want this to end right now, that they do want to send this to a Game 5 and maybe think about that reverse sweep.
Very good work from SLG. Surprisingly goes take it down to the back of the base. They put a lot of time on the board, though, overall. Over 30 seconds, and they still have back of the base control. But that push is coming in now from driveway side, B-Rail.
JLINGZ trying to make the break. Unfortunately, there's going to be a player flying through, and that's going to be Shad, who just picked up that commando cut-off extremely quickly. In my opinion, one of the most important places to actually hold with the amount of jumps that you can do up to that position to sneak behind Salps and cause that distraction, Andy.
Certainly. Great timing here, just great baiting and switching coming in from Quadrant. Did you notice how SLG was fighting players on C stairs, and as soon as the ball is down, he grabs it right away, and he gets an extra 10 seconds. Stuff like that is going to make the difference for them. They look very, very different in this second round, and probably the best they've looked in a while in this series.
It certainly is, and now JLINGZ having some questions answered of them. They are constantly in the respawn screen. You almost need to see them wait for each other, but SLG has been the difference maker. The moment this man has picked up the Stalker Rifle, things have started to happen for Quadrant.
Every single time, he's doing so much damage. He's picking up the kills he needs. TchiK thought about grabbing the rockets, but it'll be too dead for Quadrant. Maybe an opportunity for JLINGZ to answer back. It's already 73-0.
Yeah.
This could be one of the fastest Oddball Streets rounds we see in tournament play, period.
Yeah, this hold has been nothing short of phenomenal. Septiq picks up the beat down, looked a little bit wonky on our screens, but surely on his screen it looked a little bit cleaner. This time we're going to see no rockets connect again. Rocket efficiency from both teams hasn't been there so far, but there's Quarios, the man who picks up double kills, doing exactly that to break the setup.
Also forces Fragxr down and ball spawn, who has to retreat and sit tight with the Bulldog. Plenty of ammo in that. Might try to rotate the ball, but once they get damage, maybe a kill first.
Morguhhh going to be sliding in, Bulldog in hand. There is the switch of weapons, and there is that kill added to the collection. Now, how do Quadrant play this one? They obviously have the advantage of having a huge lead here, Andy. They can play for that little bit of ball time towards the end of the game. They maybe just want to play a little bit of Slayer here to make sure that they don't kind of force it a little bit and give away a few silly kills, which will allow a setup to transition across. Instead, they're going to go for the kills. Killing spree coming in from Fragxr. That's more like it.
Yeah, you wanted to see this man step up. He is 7-2 right now with the killing spree. Also, same numbers across the board for Shad, and that tells you a little bit about the fact that they have a 75-0 lead in this round.
JLINGZ trying to force that ball back into Tramp. They've managed to do so. Now, if you're on JLINGZ, you've got to be thinking here, we've got to do what Quadrant just did to us in response. They lost the first kill in the team fight, and they're also going to lose another player here. As TchiK will pick up the kill on this arcade street, you can start to see how much trepidation is in every decision being made by these players.
Absolutely, just sliding back and forth. Not sure if they want to avoid a grenade here, wait for a teammate there. Here comes the arcade push from TchiK, though, on the flank.
Morguhhh picks up one. Septiq going to be challenging and should be taken down, but no! TchiK showing a little bit of nerves there, maybe. But does finally get that kill. 3 dead here for Quadrant, and look at this. Quad has managed to sneak behind the ticket offices, jumps over the barriers, so to speak, with that oddball in his hands.
Trade at ball spawn, as you saw there, really quickly, a flash from the observers, and that ball is going to be played out to the bottom of C stairs, so that will be a moment for these teams to try to establish a little bit more control, a little bit more slays on the board before adding a few points.
What's going to be flanking here? Both players just hitting crazy slides and flying past each other. Septiq with the rocket launcher, though. He's going to pick up one. The only problem is his teammates have fallen, and now he's in the death screen as well. And Quadrant have the opportunity now for a solid hold here at tower.
With 4 dead, if this push isn't great, this game is over. It needs to be a very, very good B and C push coming into A, but the rotate's actually going to come in from SLG, trying to move down here, maybe even swing behind him on the early rotate. Great work from him.
I love this. This is where the spawns came in, right? You saw the spawn. I think it was Fragxr, the player that we're watching right now. He said, I've just spawned Tram. That means the push is coming the other side of the map. Rotate back to me. And that is the play call that was made. On top of that, they just let the ball sit. They know they don't have to force this. They know they can play the clock. But if you do play the clock, Andy, and you get it wrong, and you give a setup away, then things can look a little bit different. Great shots coming in from Fragxr, though, with that Stalker Rifle again. Stalker
Rifle is the difference maker in this round. It's just amazing work across the board for the side of Quadrant. They'll pick up another kill. Now 9 points away from closing out the round.
SOG picks up another onto Morguhhh as well. With just a few more points to go, this will be, you would imagine, game number 4 being tied up at 1-1. We're going to round 3 here. And Quadrant, if they can squeak this round out, we have a Game 5 on our hands.
And how could you have it any other way between these two teams? It's been an unbelievable series to start off the day. Look at this on your screen. This is the weapon that we need to watch. And our observers knew it as well. The Stalker Rifle was the difference maker in the second round, and JLINGZ already knows they need to prioritize this weapon, otherwise they will suffer the same fate as round 2.
As crazy as it sounds, right, it's can you keep it out of the hands of SLG? Because he's been the player who's been doing the damage with it. Septiq gets taken down. Damage initially was done by SLG with that rocket launcher, and now you have Fragxr with the ball in his hand. Big trade coming in from TchiK as well.
TchiK essentially taking down 3 players there single-handedly. Great work from him with that Bulldog. As you said, ooh, nice little job from Shad there. Not the easiest kill to clean up on B stairs. Wishing he had a grapple right now for the ball. Gonna have to go down, do the dirty work himself.
We'll be able to just step his way back into Tram though. Using that pillar for cover from that street. TchiK trying to put pressure onto Respawns here. Manages to pick up one, which is just going to stagger the push once again from JLINGZ Esports. Septiq having to be forced to play for this kill as well. One player's managed to sneak through, but that spike grenade is going to shred away, as we see so many times. Stalker Rifle back in play once more. Shad able to lock down the majority of the lines of sight now on Streets.
Keep an eye on this Stalker Rifle control. It truly was the difference maker. It wasn't just a power weapon that was in play. It was the difference maker in the round, and whoever's able to control that, nice work there in the back of Cafe from the side of JLINGZ. They'll win that, and they'll win the Stalker Rifle as well.
They've got two more players, excuse me, to clear out Tram here though, JLINGZ. You can see they've tried to rotate that ball back into the setup where we saw the amount of time put up by Quadrant in that previous round. They managed to pick up one. That was TchiK. SLG needs to be taken down as well, and he will be. Big kill coming in from Septiq. And he had to hit every single chunk of that shotgun or he was taken down himself.
And the thrust. He had to have the thrust. You might have noticed he picked up the thrust on the ground on the way. If he does not grab the thrust in that situation, he does not win that battle. Here's an opportunity for JLINGZ. They've got 2 dead.
Septiq holding so well as well. So much damage, so much discipline, everything you want from someone who's involved in a pivotal positioning in your setup. Septiq's doing it all right now. Ball is down outside, just inside a Tram, and the reason for that is they just lost the rocket launcher. They're just going to play for kills here. SLG could be the difference maker.
2v2 though. So far the rocket grab not paying off because the Septiq Bulldog is still in play. He's actually going to also get a rocket as well. Gets tossed the ball for a second, but he says, no, that's not going to be mine. That's going to go to a teammate. They're still going to continue holding, and guess what? Tie game here after some great exchanges from JLINGZ.
Not just great exchanges, but look at this rotation as well. Septiq will pick up one, and they move that ball towards the commando side. Knowing that the push was coming in, they now have the flank on these final 2 players. They should be able to clean them up as well with this Bulldog. If he's quick about it, he might be able to rotate back. Has the thrust, but no Shad makes the play. And even though we've been given a huge amount of credit to the way that Septiq has played the last few moments, that's a bit of a choke.
Tiny misplay there, just a misclick there. If he had the Bulldog out, he probably would have gotten at least the first kill. Keep in mind, as you said, Shad was a spawner, so it would have been easier said than done. TchiK's actually going to drop the ball, though. He plays it here at the bottom of B Stairs courtyard to try to reset a bit. Quadrant with still a minor lead in this game by just a few seconds.
Minor, but in the context of the game, the context of the series, massive. Here comes the rotation now from Qristola, though.
Lead change.
You are seeing the lead now change. JLINGZ Esports, Qristola scampering up that arcade street. Using that pillar to stay alive, and not only that, allowing his teammates to do some damage. Fragxr is there to trade out that kill, though.
This has been so even. Look at the next kill. 3 dead for JLINGZ. That's a big kill. Instead of going 2v2, they get 3 dead for just a second. An opportunity to maybe reset. Septiq doing everything he can to stay alive and wait for teammates to support.
Ball in the hands of Quadrant, though, and we might see a lead change in just a few seconds' time as well. Septiq has the chance to push with his teammate, though, and maybe damage these ball players, maybe to take them out. Did Qristola stay alive through all that? The ball has been stopped.
He did.
And we essentially have a tie game now, but JLINGZ now going to a lead.
Look at Septiq staying alive as the last player at the bottom of C. He just waits for teammates to come spawn. He knows the ball is held above there in garbage. He waits to come back. Then they use the 2v1 bait at the back of C. Now they will continue scoring and continue holding the lead.
Kills traded. Quadrant with the ball still in his hand, but Qristola might have the game in his hand here. He has the rocket launcher. He picks up one, does damage with the second. Shad going to be challenging, but Chris has done so much damage here to the push of Quadrant that Quadrant has been able to rotate that ball away from them.
Quadrant should be able to rotate that ball. He should have tossed it out bottom. See, he did. The ball's already out, so now they just need to slay in the back of the base.
Fragxr going to be picking up maybe that Stalker Rifle as well. Instead, he's just turning his attention towards the kills, towards the Oddball. And at this point in the map, at this point in the series, probably the smarter thing to do. Septiq, though, he's sneaking behind enemy lines again. Look at him just causing so many problems for Quadrant.
SLG may be a bit greedy there in the Bulldog grab, but it might pay off due to the way they're positioned around Tram. No, they do lose another one. So this is a 3v4 push. They're forced to play ball. SLG just a tiny bit greedy on the Bulldog grab. It's a great decision, but it cost them from the team shot.
And look at the play that just came in from Quad as well. He knew there were last 2 players alive, but he knew he had the timing to grab that ball and get away towards the street.
I don't think Quadrant needed to play ball there. Look, I don't think they needed to play ball. They gave the free rotate to JLINGZ. And now they're already at 75 to 58.
Play ball comes in this time towards bottom middle. You can see, look at the chase going down from Quadrant bottom middle. There's only just over 2 minutes left in this game. And they are chasing the game.
3 dead though.
3 dead here for JLINGZ. Opportunity once again for Quadrant to get this trap set up. Now we've seen how they can be dominant with this. The question is, can they keep their cool? Can they keep their composure? And can they turn this into a lead?
3v3, 2 players are weak here in the back of the base, so the push is coming in from JLINGZ. Let's take a look at the exact makeup. Septiq already at the front door. Kill comes in, they've got the advantage. It's a 4v3 push.
It's a 4v3 push, but more importantly, Quadrant go into the lead.
Here's the rotate from SLG.
The
He's trying to go
rotate coming
arcade.
in from SLG. Rockets are popping as well. Septiq, you gotta make a play in. You gotta go now, my friend. Morguhh's got the rockets, and maybe he can be the difference maker. Picks up 1, but is that enough? The Oddball is down, but Quadrant have the lead here.
2 dead. Morguhhh somehow stays alive for a second, but in the end will be traded out. So now Septiq with 1 rocket in hand gets another one. It's a 4v2 push from Quadrant.
Qristola has the ball. This kill is massive. If he can pick this one up, or at least clear out the street, then maybe there's an opportunity here. 2 players and 1 shot. Qristola picks up 1, but I don't think he realized there was a second. Another push comes from the driveway as well. And look at the score. It is 1 point as Qristola picks up the kill.
Absolutely huge. Shad is now maybe the 3rd kill, maybe the 3rd dead. Septiq is going to fly in to push that out, but spawners are already coming from back tram. The ball is sitting there, but neither team can grab just yet.
It's 1 second. 1 second between the 2 teams. Missed the double kills. Quadios picks up yet another, and now he has the Oddball. And not only that, JLINGZ go into the lead.
It's a perfect rotate into PD. They got all the cover. There's 2 dead still of Quadrant. This could be it.
It could be it. Qristola's holding arcade. It's a desperate push now coming in from Quadrant. Qristola playing his life. It's only 2 seconds to go. 99. Oh! Quadrant make the play.
They need more kills.
But is there any way that they can get that Oddball in their hand? SLG, the last hope. Morguhhh with the last touch. And it is game. It is set. It is series. Going to JLINGZ. And if that is anything to wet the whistle for what we're about to see today, then boy, are we going to have a day of Halo.
Oh my God. That is the only way that we would have that round, and that's the only way that we would have that series end. It will go down to a 3rd round of our 4th game. JLINGZ Esports upsetting one of the best teams in Europe. Quadrant will go down to the elimination bracket. JLINGZ will go on to play the winner of let's see, it's going to be in the end. They will play the winner of Ascend in that series. It's going to be tight. My God. That's
well, what else could you want, everybody? What else could you want to kick off the day?
One hell of a way to start the day.
Quadrant down to the elimination bracket at the first time of asking. JLINGZ showing that they are here to play, that they are the real deal. And what a play, I need to say, from Qristola in those final moments to have the composure, to make the decisions he did, to win those battles,
Huge.
And then help out with that rotation. I mean, it was a hell of a series, and that was a hell of a way to end it.